welcome, and thank you, Hans, for the invitation. The speech is called The Extended Piano, and I didn't come up with the title, but I like it very much, because my work is really about getting past the traditional piano sound. Not because I don't like it, but it was just my idea to always find something new, and since I played inside the piano, I found that I like these sounds best. And so that the first part of what I'm talking about here is how to transform the sound from within the piano, playing inside the piano, how to navigate inside the piano. And the second part is then on playing with live electronics, which means actually it's playing with tape and then with live electronics. So that is extending the sound of the piano with electronic means. I made a little to present you some of the music that I'm playing. I've got a little sampler here with 5 pieces of music. There's a little glissando between the music, so you can hear when I go from one piece to the other. It's just little excerpts of 5 pieces. It takes 6 minutes, and let's listen to this, and I will then talk about how the sounds that you hear are being produced. Okay, these were the 5 pieces, and let's start from the beginning with the first piece. It's by a young German composer, Benjamin Lang, and the section of the piece you heard was only inside the piano. Was this piece. Okay, now preparing the piano is not a new thing, and I'm not talking about preparing the piano in a Cajun way, that you put preparations in the piano beforehand and then just play on it and you have sort of a percussion instrument, but how you find your way inside the piano when you yourself change and go with your fingers inside the piano and change the sounds there. The most crucial thing is how to find your way inside the piano. It's like when you have a harp, like when you see that from a distance, you see only the strings and you wonder how can anybody work on the harp and find the strings. And in the piano, you've got almost over 200 strings. This is now the live video from inside this piano. And you have to find a way how to organize and how to find out where you are. And one way to do it is that you mirror what you have here on the keys inside the piano. Now, how I navigate on the keyboard, because I know where the black keys are. I mean, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 black keys. This is the way where I know where my keys are. And this is what I mimic here in the piano. And you see here these little dots. You see here these orange ones. And then you see green ones. And down here is orange. So actually it's orange, green, orange, green. This is all the octaves. I change between the octaves so I know which octaves I'm on. And now always it's orange, green, orange, green. It's one octave. And you see here that one dot is missing. So let me put one more on it. So now you see that I've marked all the black keys. C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and the same thing down here. This is the other octave. This is an octave below. And just so that I feel good, I always mark the Cs too with the white one. But that should not be possible. Maybe not necessary, but my security officer inside my head tells me to do so. So this way, I can readily see this is a G, this is a D, and I can play little melodies right away. Of course, sounds much better without the pedal. Okay. So this way, I know where they are, and I put dots on the dampers, and I put them here. In German it's called Agraffe, I don't know the English word, so that I can play here. So, because when I sit down, I cannot see what's behind the damper. So this is why I need the dots here too. And when I play up here, I need to do it on the bridge. So now, when I've got this information, I can play in all kinds of ways. What you, of course, know is that I can play overtones just by lightly putting a string on the finger, a finger on the string. All the overtones come very readily out of the lower voices, but we can do it here too. So these go very neatly, and I can find the other ones. So if I would have to play all the first overtones in this one octave, then I would put these dots just in the same manner as it would be here. So I wouldn't do 12 dots for this one octave, but I would only do 5 dots because they're just next to each other. This way I don't have to mark just everything that's in there, because sometimes I need to mark about 30 overtones, but then most of them are inside 1 or 2 octaves, and then I can do it with the same system. If I do it like this all the time, and I'm getting used to this, then I don't have to cut out and mark that this is a C sharp, and this is the A sharp, and this is an F sharp down there, and have to do it for every piece again and again. If I do it with this system, I just do it. It takes me 10 minutes to do before the concert, and I can do with this system every piece that I'm going to play in the evening, and I don't have to change all the markers for every piece, which is what I normally see when I see a concert piano and I see people who have played contemporary music in there. I see a wild arrangement of different markings in there because they try to do it anew for every new piece, and you can do it easily like this. Now, a few more things that you can do is you can have overtones, you can damp it. You can damp it really hard. Oops, that was wrong. So different types of damping. You can damp here. This way you can still hear what the pitch is. You can, with your fingernails, you can pick on the strings and pluck them. You can go with your fingernails and rip on the string. So this is ripping and then stopping and then playing the note, and then you have an overtone. You can, of course, use. Well, that is something of caution here. You should, of course, not. The piano looks very robust, but the inside is partly is not very robust. Like the dampers are very delicate, and it's just really hard to rearrange them. When there's something wrong with the dampers, the piano tuner has to take out the soundboard, try to fix it, puts the soundboard in, tries if the damper's working, and then if it's not working, which is most likely the case, he's got to take it all out, and it's a matter of trial and error. So don't do anything with the dampers. And what I do here is these little stickers are so light that they easily fall off, and I put them on the damper that only a half of them is on the damper, so I can really easily take them off and don't break anything at all. This is the only thing I would do on a damper. And I would. The other thing is that these strings are copper, and copper is very soft. So if you use a coin, which I often see, and you want people to play with the coin, like what I did with my fingernail, if you do this on the string, you will abrase. You will take some of the material off from the string in this part, and if you imagine that the string would swing like a perfect sinus wave, and you take something off of that sinus wave, then the string does not work the way again, and you cannot real tune the string then later. So that's just a matter of caution. Another thing that I don't like to do is I don't know if you can see this. A lot of people mark it with Tipp-Ex or with finger, with nails. Where do you do the red stuff on your nails? Nail polish. A lot of people do nail polish on the strings to mark it just the same way that I do here. Now, you know, you've got to take it off, and you probably don't get everything off, or and the stuff with what you get it off with is very acidy, so I don't think this is a good thing to do. What I do, I have these little stickers, and when I play on the little stickers, then I minimize the contact between my fingers and the string too, so that doesn't corrode the string as much as, in my opinion, anything else that would do it. To make sure that I use only materials that really do not leave any stains or anything inside the piano, it's really easy. You go to a window and you press something on the window, and when you can take it back and there's no stain left on the window, then there's no stain being left in the piano, and the string is just as new. I've been in a lot of concert halls, and many concert halls now do have an extra piano, the bad piano, for contemporary music, because the pianos get ruined by people who are working inside and don't know how to do it. People use the wrong kind of Play-Doh and stick it on the strings, and it doesn't get off again, and the piano tuner comes in and says, this modern music pianist has just ruined the piano. So this is really something I want to tell and I want to teach, because there are ways to do it without breaking the piano. I see here some strings where obviously somebody took Play-Doh. Well, actually what you use is something like this. This is an eraser for art. So when you draw with a pencil and you want to smear it a little bit around, you use one of these very soft erasers. And when you warm them between your fingers, then you can press them on here if you want this string to be damped all the time. You can do this beforehand with this very special kind of clay, and that goes off and doesn't leave any stains at all. So this is just some things to take caution. Another thing for damping, what you can do is you can use these little black things. Do you see those? These are used by piano tuners, so they can tune this one string alone. What do we have here? Now we hear only ringing this one, because the others are damped. So these are very fine for dampening. If I use the two, you only hear the hammering in a very plucky way. Now if you use, these are from rubber, if you use something with wood, then you would have a rather woody sound. So it is what you put in there really changes the character of the sound too. A nice thing that you can do is when you put the damper between the second and the third string, then you can, now when I play now, you hear the left string, and when I use now the left pedal, then it should work. Then it actually should move the hammer to only hit on the second and the third, but obviously this one doesn't work. Let's see if I can have it somewhere else. Maybe the left pedal is not working correctly here. So this is much better, but it's still not. Actually, it should. Really, we shouldn't hear anything. But we hear the left string, and now you can damp it with the left pedal gradually. And if it were a perfect world, then we would just hear plucking now. Okay, damping again up here. You can totally damp this because the strings are so small, and you hear only this very woody sound, which is only the hammers. You only hear the hammers, the felt on the strings. You can do this in grades too. You can go from the sound, and now, okay, do it here because I think you see it better on the camera. Now when I move my finger to the hammer, you will hear that this changes the sound too. Can have all kinds of grades of the damping. Good. So this is the first piece. That took a little bit longer than I thought. Let's go on to the next one. And the next one is by a British composer called James Saunders. And let's just hear a little bit. Okay, what we are listening to is at the end of the piece where we have different stacked layers of sound. This is an example of what I would call arte povera in music, making music with very cheap means. And what he uses here is a CD player that is inside the piano, and it has two little monitor speakers, two little computer speakers inside, so you don't hear it. And there's a sinus wave, And when you listen closely, you hear the sinus wave. I think it's a D. And you hear there's a little beating to that sine wave. Here it's pretty straight, but you'll hear, now I change, now you hear the beating. Okay, now this beating is made with this little device. It's called an EBO. Now we have a sine wave on the CD, and the EBO on the strings produces something that sounds like a. Could we have once more, please? Sorry. The EBO is an electromagnet that starts to resonate, that makes the string move and produce a sound. Okay, so this is the EBO. I just put it on the string here. I just put it on. And when I depress the pedal, you hear the sound, which is very much like a sine wave. And this is the only way to make a piano string move without touching it. It's with this electromagnet, and we have the other sinus tone on the CD, and the sinus tone on the CD moves gradually, and then thus we produce the beating. Okay, thank you. That is so much for the EBO. It's got an you can have an overtone in the EBO. There's a setting for that one too. So that's the first overtone. And you can use it in the mid-range. It won't work in the basses, and it doesn't work too much in the high. But this is a very cheap electronic device. Actually, it's not cheap, but the technique is cheap, and it uses a 9-block battery. And you heard some other things in the recording which you already noticed because I was playing. I did this already. So I was playing this from the beginning, and that was recorded on a dictaphone. Now, you know these old dictaphones which have a micro cassette in them, and the dictaphone lies in there and it records a C. Because in the beginning I played these Cs. The dictaphone records the C in a very bad quality, and what these dictaphones can do, you can change the speed. And it is recorded at full speed, and it gets played back later at half the speed.